G. Yeah. Rockefeller, y'all. Rockefeller, y'all. Check.
Do you mind introducing yourself to the people?
Alright, I do it this way. My name is Tito Garcia, right? But everybody knows me more now for Got It Lens. Got It _Lens on Instagram.
Okay.
And I'm a photographer in Chicago.
Yes, sir. I remember when I actually first heard of you, I was on like a small movie set with Bill Crane. Somebody was like, man, you should link up with Tito. You should link up with Tito because, you know, he the man. I'm like, okay. But I didn't know who you was. Then I think you actually came to the movie set. I don't know if you remember. That was the first time me and you seen each other. But I don't know if you remember or not.
Well, if it was with Bill Crane's, it had to be at the Old Boy Studio, I think, right?
The white boy with the...
Yeah, the white boy that shoots too.
Yeah, he shoots too, yeah.
Oh my God, I can't...
This was like 2018, probably 17.
Yeah, 2017, probably 2017, I think. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so we got you, Tito. Got It Lenses. Where are you from?
Well, I'm from. That's always a good question for me to answer, kind of like, because it's like I feel that I'm from a bunch of places, but let me put it this way: I was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico, so I'm Puerto Rican. I grew up in the Bronx, and then before high school, right starting high school, I moved back to Puerto Rico, finished high school, joined the Navy, went to California, and now I'm here in Chicago. So where I'm from, I always say I'm from Puerto Rico or the Bronx, one of the two. Depending who I'm talking to.
Yes,
if I'm
sir,
talking to somebody's from Puerto Rico, I'm straight up, I'm going to say I'm from Puerto Rico.
Yes, sir.
But I'm also from the Bronx. Grew up in Southern Boulevard, Hunts Point.
That's a dope background already before high school. Puerto Rico, the Bronx, like that. Those two alone, those places alone are some very distinct places.
Yeah.
I've never been to Puerto Rico just yet, but I hear a lot about your city, your country. What I say, island?
It's an island.
Okay.
It's an island.
I hear a lot about it. I do need to visit there. I hear a lot of beautiful things about it. I love the Bronx. I love the style, the sauce. You know what I mean?
It's the birthplace of hip hop, bro.
Exactly.
That's what I'm on. I'm into hip hop stuff. And
Okay.
Pepsi.
And my man, and Pepsi.
Fat Joe. I need to be like you, Fat Joe.
So where did you get the name Got It Lens from?
Okay, cool. Nobody has asked me that. And that was the tricky stuff for me. So my cousin was the one that introduced me to Instagram when Instagram started. Because he knew somebody that knew, or the circle that started Instagram. So when Instagram came up, he was like, yo, you gotta get on this. You gotta get on this. It's gonna be the next big thing. And I was like, okay, what is it? He's like, Instagram. I said, okay, so what is it about? And so he explained it to me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, so you on Instagram then, right? He said, yeah. He said, what? So let me see yours. And he was like, Kodak Lens. I was like, man, that's a good name, but so I started thinking. And I said, well, let me go with Got It Lens. But I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna tell you why is it Got It _Lens. Because I kind of want to stay on this, kind of like close to his name, but not Kodak Lens. So Got It is actually Tito G, Tito Garcia, backwards.
Wow, now that's dope.
Got
I
it
never even.
_Lens. So
Okay,
that's why
you went crazy with that. I can't lie. You definitely went, because I would have never thought that. Wow, that's dope. And you said your cousin is Kodak Lens.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if people know who Kodak Lens is. I'm gonna keep it real with you. That's who I've always looked up to. Lenny S. I did not know that was your cousin.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
I was gonna ask, how did you know him? I never. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's my cousin on my mother's side.
That's dope.
So my older sister Carmen had had 3 kids. No, 5 kids. Mingo, Monin, Angela, and Hector. No, 4. So my mother's oldest sister had 4 kids. And Angela is one of those 4 kids from Carmen's side, from my mom's side, and she had Lenny.
Okay.
So my mom's sister was, so he's like my second cousin.
Right.
She's the son of my direct cousin.
Okay.
So he's my cousin.
So you're the older one?
No, yeah, I'm the older one.
Okay. Okay.
I'm the older one in my mother's side, and he was the youngest one on his mom's side.
Okay, so
the only one.
that's little cuz pretty much.
Yeah.
And he put you in, oh, that's
So
dope.
he's like, damn, I don't want to put his age out, but I think he's like, well, I'm not saying my age.
Yeah.
I'm older, but he's probably like, I think he's like 12 or 15 years younger than me.
Damn, big dog. It look good on you. I ain't gonna lie. For
Yeah,
you to
yeah,
be
yeah.
12 or 15 years older than Lenny S, that's definitely dope.
Yeah, so.
You in good health.
Thank God, man. But,
That's
I
right.
got hit with the COVID, but I made it through that COVID stuff.
I'm glad you made it through.
Yeah.
That COVID definitely touched a lot of us. Did that slow you down in any way?
No, not really. It didn't slow me down. Actually, I spent the whole COVID year in New Jersey with my family. So I was here, and then I got a call. Say like, man, I know you're over there alone in Chicago, and so everything is from lockdown. Say if you want to come down to the East Coast, come on. So I spent my whole year, 2020, almost year and a half, almost 2020 and 2021 in the East Coast of Jersey.
Okay. At least you got to be with your family, you know?
Yeah.
That's love. You got to really be home, the home, you know?
Yeah.
So what name do you prefer? Do you prefer Tito? Do you prefer Got It? Or
What I prefer? Well, I prefer Tito because that's really me. I mean, they're both me, but I feel like when people call me Got It Lance, those are like fans from, you know what I'm saying? It's like those are fans from the social media. That's not really friends.
right.
They're friends, but they know a little bit of me, but they're not really friends. So that's how I see it. When somebody call me by my name Tito, it feels more like, okay, so you actually in the circle, you know me, because I was just down there at the beach yesterday, just airing out, just chilling. And it happens all the time. Say, oh, you got it, Lance. I know you. And people really nice. They treat me really nice, and they want to say hi and whatever. And I respond back the same way. But it feels like a fan. I don't know that person.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel you all day. But to me, it's still like a term of endearment because, like you say, it's a fan. That means I admire you in a sense.
Yeah. No. It's nice. But that's how it feels to me. I feel more like when you call me Got It, Lance, it's cool. Because, I mean, there's some people now that I have met through social media, Instagram, and that got introduced to me by calling me Got It, Lance. And we, so there's a few that I still have contact with them, and a little bit more on a regular basis. So it feels like a friend. But bro, I've been importing. I remember I was flying back home in Puerto Rico one time, and I had a stop from here to, I think it was North Carolina. So we had a pit stop there to change planes and go to Puerto Rico. And at the airport in North Carolina, that I really don't know anybody there. And I was sitting up for my next flight to go, and somebody came up, hey, Got It, Lance? Hi, Got It, Lance? Can I get a picture with you? I was like, that's when I was like, man, this social media is crazy. And it was a nice lady. And she was really nice. She followed me. She still followed me and everything. But it was a little weird, bro. It was a little weird for me that I don't never want to be famous.
Yes, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a famous person. I want to have a nice life and make money and chill. But people that are famous, man, too much crazy stuff.
I definitely agree with you with that. I've been fighting the whole fame thing and the balance between the making money with Instagram and the fame thing. That's why you will rarely see my face. You would never really see my face on Instagram. It's just all pictures of the things that I've done. So I 100% feel you. Yeah. And you're from a different era. You're from an era when things were real. Right now, a lot of that stuff seems like plastic.
Man, so fake and like you don't even know who it's who.
Yeah, exactly. And then a person can just put anything on Instagram, and now they just created their own narrative versus you feeling them. It's a certain vibe when you're face to face with somebody.
Yeah.
You can feel the real energy versus you know, watching your Instagram and then me thinking this to let my mind wander. If I'm next to you, I can get that real vibe. Like, okay, do I really mess with this guy? Type of thing. What brand of camera do you use? What do you prefer?
Oh man, I was talking to somebody yesterday about this stuff. Man, so let me tell you how I ended up with what I got. So let me tell you how I ended up with photography. So it goes into the camera part. So when I graduated from high school, I decided to join the Navy. So when I joined the Navy, and I went home and told my pops I joined the Navy, he decided to give me a present, going away present. So my pop was the only one that I can remember in my whole family that was into photography. He had the Polaroid, this extend like that with the accordion style, and he was always taking pictures, but he was not really a photographer. He never made $1 of it. It was just to take pictures of us, family, and stuff, right? But he liked it. So when I told him that I joined the Navy, he was like, let's go, I'm gonna get you something for a going away present. So I got in the car with him and hopped and went to a camera shop. And I was like, what the hell are we doing in the camera shop? So he goes to the owner of the store and said like, hey, what's the best camera you got here right now? What's the newest camera? What's the best thing you got? And I looked at my pops like, yo, the only thing my pops ever bought me that was expensive to me that I ever got was a bicycle. That's crazy. I'm still on a bicycle. It was a bicycle. So I'm looking at my pops like, all right. So the guy telling him, okay, yo, I got this Pentax ME1, I think it was ME1, with the very first out of focus lens. I didn't know what the hell was that shit, man. So anyway, so the guy showed him the camera, blah, blah, blah. My pop said, okay, show him. So I picked up the camera, I started looking at it, blah, blah, blah. I said, cool. And my pop was like, you like that? I was like, I had no clue. I said, sure, yeah. So when my pop's asking him, the guy said, okay, so how much is that camera? It was $999.
Back then.
Back in 1982.
Dang.
And I was like, what? In my head, right away, I was like, he ain't buying that. he bought me a bicycle fight, you know, like, because I asked him when I was little, I wanted a dirt bike. Not a dirt bike, a mini bike. A little mini bike. Yeah, I wanted a mini bike. When I asked him, at that time, I think it was like $300. He was like, hell no, I ain't got that much money. So, you know, I was used to like, the only thing I got from him was a bicycle. And the guy said that, so I was like, hey, he ain't getting that. And he said, okay, wrap it up. I was like, what?
Wow.
You know, I'm 18 years old, going to the Navy. So he gets me a Pentax. So I started with a Pentax film. After the Pentax, you know, after I learned my skills with the Pentax, that was the camera that really put me on. And then I went in shooting, and I'm telling you, I was wasting rolls of film like crazy because I didn't know what to do with it. So I was getting those 36 rolls, you know, and I would probably get maybe 3, 4, 5 photos out of a 36 exposure. So I was mad at that because it took me a long time to figure that out. But then after that, when I'm out here now in Chicago and they started talking about like digital cameras. And I was like, what? So the first camera comes out digital, I'm buying it. So the Sony Alpha came out with the digital camera. Boom, I went to the Navy Exchange, got me a digital camera. At this point, right, I'm talking to my cousin Lenny, and he's like, I tell him like, say, yo, I'm gonna get me a digital camera. And he was like, why? You gonna get a digital camera? Because Lenny loved the old-fashioned thing. Even though he's still now shooting digital, but he loved the real real deal.
The red rooms and all that,
Reels,
right?
reels, and all that stuff. He loved that. So he was like, "You gonna get digital camera?" So he asking me, "What camera you gonna get?" I was like, "Man, the Sony Alpha. That's what they're coming out with the digital camera. I get that Sony Alpha." So I got the Sony Alpha, and I started listening around, bro, and I love the digital stuff. He wasn't really too convinced. He was shooting with Canon. He was shooting with Canon, still film, but I said, okay. So I had my Sony camera for a couple of years, and now other companies like Sony, I mean Sony was still the first one, and then started, all the other cameras coming out with digital, like Nikon and all that sort of stuff, Fuji. And then I felt like I was ready to upgrade. So I started looking at the Nikons. I was like, man, these Nikons are nice, They're comparable with the Canons. So I'm ready to pull the trigger on the Nikon. So before I pull the trigger on the Nikon, I go and call Lenny, and I'm talking to Lenny on the phone. It's like, yo, I'm about to upgrade my digital camera. I said, where? We said, what you gonna get? And he said, I tell him, I'm gonna get a Nikon. I'm looking at this Nikon. This looks good, man. And he was like, nah, man, no go no Nikon. Get you a Canon. I was like, damn. And he's younger than me, but he also been shooting since he was in high school, since he was a teenager. So I respect his opinion too, even though I'm older. But I was like, damn. He said, like, yeah, get you a Canon, bro. And at that time, I was like, man. I was looking at the Canon, but the Canons is like expensive. So after a long conversation with him, and I hung up, I was like, damn, now I'm gonna have to wait a couple of more months so I can just get some more
Stack
paper.
that money, yeah.
Get some more paper to get a Canon, because my cousin Lenny said Canons is the best camera. Alright, cool. So I waited a couple of months, and I got me my first Canon camera. Digital
Okay.
camera. So I love Canon. I'm gonna tell you, I love Canon. Great camera. Nothing bad to say about Canon. But then came Sony again in the picture with this mirrorless.
Yeah, the mirrorless, yes.
And then I was like, man. And Canon came with the mirrorless too. And I was looking, and I almost went with the Canon. But something that turned me down was that the lens that I had already bought a bunch of lenses for my Canon. I had a 20 to, I had the, what's that? The 70 to 200. I had a 35 millimeter. I had the 24 to 70. I had a bunch of Canon lenses, but they didn't fit to the new Canon unless you had an adapter.
The RF adapter joint, yeah.
RF adapter. I was like, what? So that kind of like turned me down. I was like, you know what? Let me try a Sony. So I've been shooting with a Sony for maybe like now 6 or 7 years.
Okay, so you say P-Tech, what's it called, P-Tech?
Pentax.
Pentax, my bad.
Pentax, my first camera. Then the Sony Alpha.
And then Canon.
Then Canon. And now back to
Sony. Okay. And Sony the one that's living with you right now, 6 straight years. That's a great relationship right there.
Yeah. No, but I still got my Canon 5D.
Okay.
Mark III. I still got it. That's my backup.
Okay. That's what's up. What style would you say of photography you would classify yourself as? Me, myself, like I was explaining in the little one, I like candid shots. I like live action to like catch your real you. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be a glam shot to where, okay, you pose here, you pose there. So what would you say is your style?
I'm almost in the same round as you, man. I like candid shots a lot. Because, and I'll tell you why. My reason really, because, I get a lot of customers or clients that, like, I always get like females that want to be models or they're modeling and stuff, pursuing that career. Some of them don't know how to pose. And they be coming at me like, okay, tell me what to do. Tell me what. And to be honest, I'll be honest straight up with you right now on film. I don't know how to tell people to pose.
That's my problem. My problem is I don't.
I was like, yo, I just always tell my clients, like, well, just be natural, but they want you. I had a couple of females that, well, how do you want me to turn this way or this time? Like, yo, it's getting complicated. I was like, so, but I learned a little bit through the years, but I'm not the type of giving you too much direction because I want to capture you the natural way.
In the natural essence of you.
Yeah, so that's why I like the nice candy shots. I like to surprise people, especially candy shots where they don't know that you've been taking candy shots of them. You know?
Yes, that's what I love.
That's what I love. And then besides that, I love sports, to be honest. I love action shots. Let's put it that way. I like action shot. Like you skateboarding, I love catching you in the air. Not really on the ground, but you're doing a kick flip or something, I like to catch you up in the air. I like basketball. You know, I like shooting action shots. Photos of people in action. Because I like that freeze moment. And even in the shows, like I do a lot of concert shows. And on the concert shows, I look for that moment when the artists, especially now, rappers now, they love to be jumping around left and right like crazy, right? I like catching the action, the artists on an action, like when they jump or they screaming or they gonna throw something, a bottle of water or something. I like those shots. So I like action shots really. Or beside the little candy shots.
Do you say you still love it? I can hear it in your voice that you do, and I can tell, but sometimes I like to get the clarification.
Yeah, I love it, bro. I love action shot and candy shot.
When did you discover that you loved photography? Like, what was that point? Was like, man, this is in my heart.
So back to the story when my dad gave me my camera. So the gift that he gave me was that Pentax, and the next thing he said to me was like, "You go into the Navy, you're gonna waste all of your money. You're not gonna bring anything back. So with a camera, you can at least get some pictures of everywhere around the world that you go to. And when you get old like me, then you can show people where you were in the world, that you visited all these places." I was like, damn, okay, sounds good. You know, and it made sense, a little bit of sense. So what happened was, I took that camera, went to the Navy, and I'm in the ship, going to the Philippines, Singapore, and all that stuff. And I'm here playing with this camera. And this is where it comes, that part where it connects to the action shot. So I was shooting, you know, the guys out in the ports in the Philippines, Hawaii, whatever. And there was kind of like boring shots. You know, us at the bar, at the beach. And then one day, we go out in San Diego to San Clemente Island. San Clemente Island is an island off the coast of San Diego the Navy uses to shoot our target practice on the land from the ship with the cannons. Mm-hmm. So we're out in the middle of the water, and we're gonna do an exercise shooting targets, and I hear the cannons going off, boom, boom, boom. And I'm in there, I wasn't doing anything, and I hear the cannons go off, and I was like, maybe I can catch one of them bullets coming out of the gun. So I grab my Pentax, go out to the deck, put my earpieces on, so cause you know you gotta have your earpiece for ear protection, and I started grabbing my Pentax. So I'm over here waiting to hear the click for the 5-inch gun to shoot the bullet, and I'm out in the bridge with my camera, just waiting. So at this point, I had no clue how to use this camera. So I'm doing all kinds of settings. You know, we over there shooting bullets like for an hour. So I go out there, put in the camera in one setting, and wait for the click. And hopefully, when I hear the click, I know like, boom, it's gonna go out, right? So I'll be like, let me shoot it real quick, and kept shooting, changing the setting. Because at that time, I didn't know what shutter speed was, and I knew a little bit what the aperture was, but shutter speed, it really wasn't clicking what that was. So I was just doing all the settings to see which one catches the bullet, and write it down on a notebook.
Yeah.
Okay, the first shot, it was this setting. Second shot, this setting. Third shot, and like that, bro, 36 times. And then put a new roll and keep doing it, and keep changing back and forth. Bro, I wasted like 5 or 6 reels trying to catch that bullet, and I got it on one shot. I actually got the mushroom cloud, they say.
Ooh.
When the gun shoot the bullet, and you see the mushroom cloud like this, and the projectile just shooting out.
We need to see that. We need that
I
photo.
got that picture at home. I'm gonna get it to you. I'm
My
gonna get it to you
man.
so you can show it. So I got that shot, and I was so happy. And I went back to my notebook to see what was the setting, and I realized that like when I put my shutter speed higher, that's when you're gonna get it because of the speed. You just gotta be quick. So I put it down, and then it was a matter of just catching other stuff. So then I realized, okay, so if I shoot, let me catch now the helicopters landing on the flight deck, because you know we had helicopters and we had no, at that point I was on a destroyer, yeah, USS Fife. I was in the USS Fife, DD 991, and we had a deck in the back where the helicopter lands. So I'm thinking like, okay, so if I catch the bullet shooting out at that speed, I can probably freeze the blades of the helicopters when they're gonna come and land. It'll look real cool. Like it looks like it stopped in the air. So I went one day when we were doing helicopter hops. I said, okay, we got it there with the camera. I said, took a couple of shots. Man, I was freaking them blades like dope. I was like, okay, I think I got it.
So essentially, you never wasted those 6 reels before. You were learning.
Yeah.
It was a
Right.
quote
But it
unquote
felt bad
waste.
because remember, you had to buy. I think they were like, I don't know. I think they were like $12 per reel.
Back
for
then, yeah.
36 back then, and then to develop them was like another $9 or $10 to develop it.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
then
You got,
like, I used to get like 5 or 6 pictures that were decent.
and you just spent a good $200 real quick for 5 pictures. Oh yeah, I feel you. I hear you
But
loud and
you're
clear.
right. It was not wasted because I learned.
And you're got it lens today
Yeah,
because of
I
that.
learned. So it's like, but at that time I was feeling pretty crappy because I was like, man, I'm wasting all that money. I don't got. It was like no productivity. You know, I couldn't make. It didn't make sense at that time, but I did learn.
So what's the most devastating loss when it comes to pictures that you've taken?
Lost.
So I went to Coachella. I snuck in. I literally snuck in Coachella with this camera right here, and you're not supposed to get any cameras in. So I snuck in. I got pictures of Beyonce, Cardi B, like everybody, every main artist that you could think of in Coachella in 2018. So eventually, I got bumped off by security. They took my camera, deleted everything. I'm talking about everything.
Oh my God.
Yes, and you're a photographer, so you feel me. I didn't pick up my camera for like 6 months. Crushed my whole heart.
Oh man, that's a bad one, bro.
Yeah.
That's a bad one. Okay, what's the? So I never had none problem like that, but I did have. I had a client. I can't remember who it was, but you know, since I do all kinds of photos, I do birthday party, corporate, whatever, concert, all that stuff, right? So I was doing a wedding, and after the wedding, I was doing something else, and I formatted. I went after the wedding. I went to another party, and I thought I switched the cards, and I actually reformatted the camera that had the wedding picture.
Oh, not the
So
wedding.
I just wiped them all out.
Oh, are they
And
still mad at you today?
I was scared as hell. I was like, oh my God, and these people pay me for this wedding. It's like, how the hell I'm gonna do it? Bro, and I was searching on the internet, how can I recover all that stuff? And I started learning about the recovery little programs online. And luckily there was a ScanDisk program out there to recover photos from it. So I recovered so much, only so much, you know, from the card, but I was able to pull out some. There was not the full resolution, but at least I was able to work with something.
Yeah.
So the client never knew, but I was scared as hell. I was scared as hell.
How long ago was this?
This like 10 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
That's a
Okay.
long time ago, yeah.
Okay.
That stuff don't happen to me like that no more.
Yeah.
I learned I gotta have multiple cards, and now I'm in the habit. It's like I shoot one event, even if I'm going to the next event in an hour, I dump. I don't wait. I don't wait to go home and dump later at night. I just dump it and go.
Yeah, I legit learned from that Coachella situation as well. It's like now you keep multiple memory cards. You can never have too many memory cards. You can never have too much storage. You're a shooter as far as camera. Would you say the Navy brought out the other shooter aspect of you? Because I see you like guns as well. It's not just the camera.
Yeah. Definitely, the Navy was a so. And yeah, the Navy did that because I'm gonna tell you the other situation happened when I was learning with my camera in the Navy. So I get to my first ship, which was the USS Harry W. Hill, DD 986. So I'm in there, and we go into our first Westpac. The Westpac is when the Navy ships goes and departs the port and goes around the world for 6 months, right? So I'm new. I'm like 20 years old in the Navy, and we going to a Westpac 6 months out. And little did I know, I learned that about a month into the cruise, I find out that they do what they call a cruise book. It's almost like a yearbook or a graduation book. So, and they were looking for volunteers. They were looking for photographers, people that write, and people that draw and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're looking for photographers for the cruise book. I said, cool. This is a good way for me to start learning and put my pictures on print. So I volunteered for the first cruise book on the USS Harry W. Hill. Yeah. And so I went, it was like 3 of us were volunteers that had cameras. And so our purpose was every port that we went, we had to go grab a bunch of pictures. And then the committee will sit down and look at all the photos and choose what they want to go in the book. So I'm turning a bunch of stuff, man. I'm now at this point, I'm like shooting guys at the beach, guys at the bar, tourist spots, and I'm getting most of my pictures in the book. They're picking a lot of my photos. I was like, oh, man.
That's when you realized you had sauce at that point. Like, okay.
That's when I was like, oh man, they liking a lot of my photos. That's cool. So I would see a lot of the photos in my phone. There would be pages that have 4 of my pictures and 1 of the other guy. I was like, oh man, yeah, this is cool.
Tito G has arrived.
Yeah, so the art for the photography, it started coming out. That's when the art of photography. I started learning about, how to position stuff, the rule of thirds and framing, all that stuff.
So what's your top 5 pictures of yours, that you've taken? Or can you name 5?
Yeah, it's hard to name 5, but okay. Okay. So one of it's, I can't remember which show it's. I think it was some of the pictures I took during the Washington Throne tour of Jade and Kanye in Paris.
Oh, in Paris?
Yeah, in Paris. So
wow, you just hurt my feelings.
I can feel that my favorites.
You ain't just say watch the throne, the one in Paris. You touched me with that.
I did the show in Paris and then we'll show in London. I did both.
Oh wow, you snapping.
So some of those photos are dope. So that's my favorite. My other favorite, I'm gonna say it, but I can't show this one. But my other favorite shot that is really recent, it's probably within the last 2 months. It's a picture I took of Jay and Beyonce. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Cool. That's cool. But then other than that, so let's say that those two of Jay, right? One with Beyonce. Then I got so many, right? Oh, one of my favorite because it went viral. It was a picture that I took of Chris Brown at Big Jam here in Chicago, United Center. Now I caught him, he was dancing, his shirt was off, and I caught him dancing. I think he like expanded his arm like this, and he was in his tippy toes or whatever. And I posted it. And little did I know, he took it, and he's an artist. He took it and he kind of like threw some drawing to it, but it was my picture, he did, and reposted it. I was like, oh snap, Chris Brown reposted one of my photos. I was super happy. So Jay with Beyonce, Jay and Kanye, Chris Brown will be 3. Oh my God. Who else?
We can double back to that. You got those 3 right there. That kills 5. You just said Jay-Z, Kanye, Beyonce, and Chris Brown. Those are like the top artists of right now. So like you really just killed the list right there. How long have you been like taking photos of Jay-Z?
Probably since 2003 or 4.
Wow, way back. So do you know him from the New York situation or?
Well, no, not from the New York situation. So this is the funny part. This is like the real story about it. So of course, Kodak Lens is my cousin, but I was in the Navy for 20 years. So what's happening is that, and I did 20 years in the Navy, so I retired from the Navy. So what happened is like, when Jay came out, he's been with Jay for the entire time, basically. It's impressive. And I go to New York in 2005. 2005, I went to New York for Christmas with my brother and my mom. And we went to see my cousin Angie, which is Lenny's mom. I spent the Christmas with them in the Bronx. And I was like, my brother says like, yo, my brother told me, yo, you need to really hang with Lenny and stuff, I said, yeah. It's like, he's into rap like you and all this stuff. And he's with this rapper, he working with this rapper named, the guy with the big lips. This is my brother talking about. Yeah, the rapper with the big lips. I said, the rapper with the big lips. So I'm thinking about Busta Rhymes. So, but in my head, rapper with big lips. Yeah, he's like the one he's dating Beyonce. I said, oh, you talking about Jay? I said, yeah. He said, yeah. And then that was on Christmas Eve, and Lenny was coming to drop the baby for his mom to babysit because he was going out. And so they said, yo, Lenny, what's going on? I said, yeah, I know, I gotta go to a party, da. They said, you working with Jay? I said, yeah, I've been working with Jay. I said, oh, that's dope, that's cool. And then he left. And I was like, okay. So we kept in touch. We always kept in touch because he's just like me. He liked a lot of the stuff I like art and all that stuff. Of course, hip hop, photography. So, man, we've been on it for a long time. And you know what? I'm out of. What was the question about it?
How long you been working with Jay-Z?
Oh, okay. So it goes back to like, so I'm here. So I was stationed here in Waukegan, Great Lakes. And Jay had I don't know if you remember, Jay came out with a tour, the 7 city in 24 hours tour. I think they call it the hangar tour or something like that. Where he did a show, started New York, then he did something like in Atlanta, then Miami, LA, Chicago, like 7 cities or something like that, Las Vegas. He did it in 24 hours. He went on a jet. He did a tour.
Wow.
Like that. And one of the stops was here in Chicago, and he went to the Royal Theater. So when he was coming, Lenny hit me up. And I think that was in 2005 or 6, something like that. And that was the first show that I actually went. And I had my camera, took some photos of Jay. But it was like so quick. So Lenny hit me up and said, yo, we stopping. We just landed out of here. Where you at? I said, I'm waiting for you to tell me where to go. I was like, meet me at the Royal Theater, in the back door. Make sure you there. If you're not there, because we got to go in, do a couple of songs, get out, go to the airport, go to Atlanta, and then go to LA and all that stuff. I said, cool, I'm here. And so I met up in the back door of the the theater, and he'll pull up on an Escalade, black Escalade. Lenny got out and said, all right, come on. And I followed Jay and Lenny and the whole crew through the back door of the theater until he went to the stage, and I pulled up to the side and I took a couple of shots. Lenny was on the DJ booth. It was with Green Lantern was the DJ, and they did a couple of songs, rocked the house. I think he did like 3 or 4 songs. Went out the back door. I went out the back door with them again. I gave Lenny a pound. I said, "All right, man, see you." And I went home, and they left.
Oh,
I
yes,
went
sir.
to LA or whatever was the next city.
So you caught the beginning of something epic. Jay was already where he was at, but he was still on the trajectory going up.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the biggest. I think that was one of the biggest things he'd done at that time.
24 hours, 4 or 5 cities.
Yeah, look
That's
it up.
crazy.
So he did like 5 or 7. He did New York. I think he did Philly, Atlanta, Chicago, Miami, LA, and Las Vegas. Yeah,
7 in 24 hours.
in 24 hours in one day.
That's crazy. We do call Hov the God though, like, cause he's not writing lyrics. He's doing 7 shows in 24 hours. All that's amazing. What's the craziest story that you have, like either on tour with artists or just period as far as photography?
The craziest story. Man, I'm getting old and I can't remember crap. The craziest. Oh man, the craziest. You know, you would think that I would have been easy for me to call, but I can't think of the craziest.
We can double back to that. But how was it like kicking it with Jay?
Oh, he's he's really cool. He's a funny guy. You know, he like to have fun and stuff. But the thing with that is like, you know, most a lot of the time that I saw him is during shows. And when he's in the show mode, it's different. It's because it's a lot of people, and he's like to stay away, stay quiet, and all that stuff. You don't have too much interaction during shows. But recently, I was able to be a little bit more on the personal, casual stuff. And I've been in on the personal, casual stuff, I've been in 3 of those, which are mainly people's birthdays. And he's close to the person. For one, the last one was Tata's birthday party. And I was the only photographer for Tata's birthday party. So I was there. Jay was there with B. So on those situations, it's nothing but
Friends
people,
and family, real people, yeah.
real close people, family, cousins, uncles, or whatever, moms. And there's maybe like 30 people there.
And that's beautiful. You're the only photographer.
I'm the only photographer there. I'm just taking only me and Lenny.
Yeah,
you know, I will have my camera. I will be there, kind of like the official photographer taking the photos. And Lenny will say, "Give me the camera," and he goes and get more shots of other stuff. But on those situations, he's like anybody else. He's just like a guy like to have fun, be comfortable. He don't like the attention like that. He like to joke, you know, and so it's cool. It's cool. It's just like another person, man. But when you see him in the show mode, like it was what I was used to, you know, from 2005 to when I went to Paris. It's like I barely get to see him. Or the most time that I was close to him and see him is when he's on stage and I'm right behind on the stage pit with Lenny taking photos. But he's just like anybody else, man. Depending where you at, he's gonna act depending what the crowd looks like.
What's needed to be done type of vibe. Yeah. Do you feel like you've made your mark on the world?
No, not really. Not really, because there's so much happening that I was like, I will never be done. You know, I will never feel like I've done my mark.
That's the gift and the curse of ambition.
I think making a mark, that's a big statement, you know, making a mark. So about, you know what I like? I would like to see it more like what can I leave behind that represent what was going on at that time, that people are willing to look at and learn from what was going on. You know, it's like photography to me, it's almost like documenting life. the story. So it's like, if so, hopefully I come up with a book. Excuse me. Hopefully I come up with a book, and leaving my mark to me will be something like, my book is out there and it stays out because it will be on print, so it'll be out in the world, and the people who actually will look it up to learn and see what was going on and he was doing what. And then I feel like I maybe did some type of mark in the world.
Well, let you know personally, face to face. It's like literally right here. 1982, you got your first camera. Your father blessed you with your first camera. I'm literally right here with my son, and I no longer even have to say anything. He's lost in the camera right now himself. You've left your mark. He'll be 13 next week. So you got at least 20, 30, 40 years of you're doing this.
Yeah.
This is transitioning right now. So
Yeah, I wish I would have picked up a camera at his age. I would have learned faster. Probably by the time I was in the Navy, I would have been way ahead. But it's good. It's good, man. It's good.
So who is your goal specimen, like the unicorn person that you want, or that one person that you want to catch that you haven't caught yet?
Oh, that I haven't caught yet. Prince.
We got some similarities here.
Prince or Michael Jackson.
If you could have caught them, that would have been it.
That would have been it.
What about who's alive that you?
Alive? Alive right now? I mean, I almost got everybody, bro.
You got Obama?
Huh?
You got Obama?
Yes,
I ain't seen no Obama.
speaking. I got Obama speaking when he was leaving
Okay.
the office. Look, that was a crazy how it came up. I'm trying to make it short and quick. I was at home watching the news, and it came on the news saying like President Obama decided, that's when he did, because they didn't know where he was going to do the farewell speech, and he decided to do it in Chicago on McCormick Place. And I'm sitting and listening on the news, and I was like, wow. I mean, I wish I could be right there for that, to get those photos. But I said, but you know what? I cannot miss it. I cannot miss this. So even if I cannot be there, I'm going to sit at home and watch it, because it was very important to me to watch it. So I let the news go by, and 2 or 3 days later, I get a phone call from Mary Datcher, that works at the Chicago Defender. She was a writer, the editor. And she said, hey, Tito, what you doing on this date? I forgot the date that it was, right? On this date. I was like, none. I don't got nothing scheduled. I said, okay, so keep that date open. I need you to send me a photo of your ID and a copy of your social security card and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I sent it to her. And I said, what's going on? And it's like, okay, well, you're going to get an email from the White House. So make sure you follow up with us. I was like, what?
The White House.
So I got an email from the White House, bro. And the email was basically telling me like, they were going to do a background check on me. They needed my birth certificate, social security number, my address, and they were going to do a full background. And I was like, so, because she wanted me to do photos at the farewell speech at McCormick Place. So here I'm thinking, okay, I was like, cool, oh my God. It's like, I thought I was going to watch it at home. Now I'm going to be taking pictures where he's at McCormick Place doing the farewell speech. I said, I'm sick, bro. I was like, oh my God, this is like dope. And so the paperwork go through, everything come back. I got my pass, all that stuff. The day comes, and basically, it was, I knew that farewell speech was on McCormick Place, but they're telling me to meet up at Soldier Field, at their garage. It's like, Soldier Field? Well, it's kind of like right next door. I said, okay. So go to Soldier Field. CIA patted me down, dogs sniffing on my bag, pat down everything, check all my batteries and my whole thing, shebang. And they put me in the room. When I go to the room, there's the LA Times, New York Times, Chicago Defender, and 2 other photographers and me, like 3 photographers. That's it. I was like, oh my God. And then Mary Datcher, it was my contact, and she was there. And it's like, oh man. I said, this is cool. So I'm thinking like, okay, so we're gonna be here. So, I had to check in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but he didn't speak until 6 o'clock, supposedly. And I said, damn, that's 4 hours before? All right, cool. So we in there at Soldier Field, and we waiting. And I'm thinking, okay, so at the last minute, say, okay, let's get ready to roll. It was almost like 5 o'clock-ish. I said, okay, cool. Grab my bag, we all ready. And then they tell me, okay. And then when I walk out the door of the room, they have a SWAT truck parked, cars lined up in the garage, right? It's a SWAT truck. There's 2 white vans. Then the how'd it go? No. The SWAT truck, like a cop car or something like that. Then the black president limousine. There was 2 of them. And then there was 2 white vans behind the limousines, and then cop cars out there, wazoo in the back. I was like, oh shit! And motorbike, bikes, the police bikes and everything. They told me, oh yeah, you going on that van, on the white vans. I was like, what? What do you mean we're gonna go? So okay, so we're gonna ride from here to my apartment place, which is probably not even a 5-minute drive. So we go in the van. So I'm in the press van, right behind the limos where they carry the president, Obama. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in this van. So I said, okay, cool. So I'm thinking that the president is somewhere. They're gonna bring him to the limo, and we're gonna go to my apartment place. So CIA, all the cops going, okay, we take off. And I'm thinking that the president's in the limo. I'm like, damn, I'm riding this mud.
You escorting the president.
With the president.
Yeah.
And we get out of the Soldier Field, and we get on the highway, in the 90 highway, and we're going north. And I'm like, where the hell we going? My apartment place is back here. And then he jumped into 290. And it's like 5 o'clock. Weekday, so you know how the traffic is, right?
Yes, both.
290 is the bumper to bumper. It can take you like hour and a half to get from downtown to O'Hare. I didn't know where we were going, but I'm assuming now that we're going to O'Hare because we jumping in 290 and we going on the side.
The left side, yeah.
Just going, the cop, woo, woo, and we all flying down on 290. I was like, oh snap! We said we look like we going to O'Hare. I said, cool. I'm like, oh my God, I'm riding in mud. I said, oh shit, so we gotta go pick up the president at the airport. So we go to the airport, and I see we getting closer to O'Hare. You from here, so you know how O'Hare looks like to go to O'Hare. And we pass O'Hare. I was like, wait a minute, O'Hare, where we going? So we went to the backside of O'Hare field strip. On the field trip that I never seen in my life. And I fly out O'Hare a lot. I'm like, oh, and we went through a back gate where it has security, police, and a gate and another stuff. I was like, wow, this is another entrance for O'Hare. So it's the secure area. And then the whole caravan pulled up, and I see a platform with all the TV cameras and the news on a truck flat pointing towards the little airstrip. And I was like, oh shit. So the CIA comes and said, like, okay, we're gonna stand right here. When they give us the okay, the president's gonna land over there on that strip right there. And then we all gonna take you to the plane, and we're gonna have it set up a place where you can be right where the ladder of the plane comes out. You're gonna be right there and take pictures of the president when they get in the limo, and then from there we're gonna go to my country. I was like, oh shit.
You welcome the president.
I was like, what? Bro. So I got pictures when I see Air Force One coming to the land strip, and I got a picture from when he's coming in the air, coming out, he land, and then they took us right down, like, I'm like, maybe like, a little bit more of like 10 more feet away from you, from the ladder that comes from the president airplane. And I'm sitting right there with like 6 guys, LA Times or whatever, all the news.
Michelle Obama was there?
Yes. So I'm over there with my camera. The door opens, and here comes Obama and some other people, Michelle, and the one daughter, because the other daughter was in college. She was in college doing something, so it was only one of the daughters. And they came down, I took a picture, he waved, he was waving. I'm over here, bro, going wild, like shooting. And I got a bunch of pictures of him going in to his limo. And we left O'Hare, and we head on to Hyde Park. And we followed him. He didn't go to McCormick right away. He went to Hyde Park. He had an interview at that restaurant where he normally eats breakfast on.
I can't remember the name. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's right down in 53rd, right there, right across from.
Right by Kenwood, right?
Yeah, by Kenwood over there. So we went over there because he had an interview there. We followed him to there. Hyde Park was full of people. He did his interview, then we jumped in the caravan again, and we went to McCormick. We got there, and then I was right in the pit. In the pit, there was only 3 photographers, me and the other 2 guys, LA Times and New York Times, shooting at the president, talking right there, like 20 feet from me, and I'm like, that's going bananas. You want to hear something funny?
I do.
I'm crazier than that.
I do.
Check this out. I'm a man of a lot of trade. So when I was in the Navy, I was an engineer. So when I got out of the Navy, I got a job at a building in Maywood as an engineer, where they have elderlies. So when in 2008, what's that thing? No, 2006. When Obama was running for senator here for the Illinois Senate seat, he was campaigning. I was at work with my camera. I always have my camera at work. Or everywhere I go, I always got my camera. So I'm the engineer for the building. I got 2 other guys that work for me, and we maintain the buildings, And all of a sudden, I get called up to the office and say like, "Hey, we gotta get the building ready because we got Senator, and running for senator seat Obama, Barack Obama. He's gonna come and talk to the senior because he's trying to get some vote. We support him and blah blah blah." I'm not really a politician type of guy. I don't like politics. So I was not impressed. He was just running for Senate. So I was like, okay. So I told my other 2 guys, okay, we gotta get the conference room ready and make sure everything's cool, blah blah blah. So he'll show Obama to talk to and trying to get some people to support him and vote for him for the Senate seat. So he comes, he talks to everybody, shake everybody's hand. I'm in the back of the room just because I didn't have nothing to do. I'm not impressed at all. And he started talking, and I started listening to him, and yeah, sounds kind of cool. And in my mind, went through my head, was like, should I go and get my camera out of the car and take maybe 1 or 2 photos? And I was like, nah, I don't think I want to do that. I don't feel like it. And all I did was I grabbed my little flip phone. At that time, I had a flip phone. So I just take a couple of shots with my flip phone. So I opened my phone. I went like this. Took like 4 photos of Obama talking and shaking hands with the elderly people. And that was about it. He left. Never thought anything else after that. He wins the Senate. So what? There's a bunch of senators. I don't even know who they are. Then he started running for president. I was like, wait a minute. This is the same guy that came to Maywood Phoenix Homes, and he's running for president. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Then he wins. Now he's the president of the United States. I'm like, oh shit. Why didn't you get my real camera and get?
I bet you grabbed it with fucking die.
Bro, I was hating life, bro. I was like, why I did not pull my camera out? I got those flip phone pictures though, because when he began, I was looking through my whole picture thing because I archive everything till I found them, and I keep them because I got them. But it was crazy. So what happened was that this is how karma is, right? So it's like I'm frustrated because I didn't take a good picture with a good camera. But then he wins the presidency, so now he's gonna be in Millennium Park doing his acceptance speech, right? So I'm like, I gotta go to this now. I gotta go take a picture good with my real camera.
Real, yeah.
Bro, I go to Millennium Park. I couldn't even get close to.
Yeah, it was over.
I brought my 270 to 200 film, lens.
Yeah.
With my Canon 5D, and I was so far back. He looked so minute because there was so many people. I could not get in the work.
Yeah, it was over with. Millennium Park was crazy.
Millennium Park was insane. And I was so mad because I'm over here with my big lens trying to get a photo, zoom in all the way in, and I can barely see them. I mean, those photos, I look at those photos, I was like, they're really no good. Yeah, I mean, you can tell that's the president or whatever, but it's like, not like a photo like we like.
But the universe been talking to you the whole time. You met him in 06. You tried in Millennium Park. You got requested in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, it was meant to be, man. I was like, it was crazy.
On another note, though, I've been meaning to ask you this, but we kind of turned up a little bit. Top five album of all time.
Oh, top five. Reasonable Doubt for me.
My man.
Number one.
You the second person who sat in this seat, and in this position right here, and said Reasonable Doubt is their favorite album of all time.
Yeah, favorite album of all time, Reasonable Doubt. Then I'm gonna tell you, Busta Rhymes. I can't remember that one they got.
Give me some more.
Give me some more.
Yeah.
That album. Busta Rhymes. That would be two. Of course. I was always, because I was in California, stationed in California with the Navy so long. Man, now we're going back to like NWA albums, the first album. So that's number three. And then when Ice Cube came out with solo album, that's four for me. And then and Tupac's Machiavelli.
Okay, that album actually was hard. That was one of my first CDs I've ever bought.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
You can get an honorable mention. So you can get an honorable mention.
Snoop Dogg.
Doggy Style?
Doggy Style.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a classic, without a doubt.
Snoop Dogg.
I was too young rapping that whole CD. I probably had to be like 12 or 10.
I bumped. So since I was in my, I joined the Navy in my 20s, and I was stationed in San Diego, and I left at 93. There's too many, man. There was too many albums. I mean, so I was influenced a lot by the West Coast, but then when you have people like, KRS-Ones, and I have those are my idols. KRS, one of my idols, rap idols. Eric Sherman, EPMD. Those are like insane.
Favorite shoes of all time?
The Jordan 1s.
The number
what I
one.
got on too right now.
Those are the ones that color trend?
Yeah, I mean any of these.
Anyone, yeah.
The Jordans.
They're always super comfortable to me.
Yeah. I started buying the low tops. The low ones on these now. A lot of people kind of like was frowning at them because they're one of the classic high tops or whatever. But I'm older, so I like the low top better. But I like those. Those are my shoes, Jordan.
Where's one place someone can find your work?
Mainly on my Instagram, on got_lens, or on my website. I do have a website. It's called totallyvision.com. That's totally with two I's. So it's TOTALLII. Totally.
Okay.
And then vision, all together. Totallyvision.com. I have a website. That's basically. I put some stuff on Facebook, but I hate Facebook, to be honest. But Instagram on my website.
Yes, sir.
That's
2 more questions. Top 5 artists dead or alive.
top 5 artists dead or alive.
I'm thinking Jay gonna be number 1. It don't gotta be rap. It could be country music. It could be anything.
Yeah, but I started thinking about this shit because a lot of people ask me to do it. I don't do them so much. But
We want to keep a record. Like, when I say what I say, I really mean what I say. Like, you are definitely appreciated. I started doing photography a long time ago when I was young. I used to always just pick up cameras, any video camera stuff like that, just the old stuff. Like, I got stuff when he was born, before that, you know what I mean? But then eventually the Instagram came about, the social media came about, and I figured like, hey, why not keep this going? It wasn't even about money. It's just because I love capturing the moment.
exactly.
And then once I see somebody who's risen to heights like you, was like, it's possible. And then now my son, I can make him passionate about it. And then now he can see a lane like, okay, I can express myself this way or that way. It's freedom, liberation, stuff like that. So I really mean what I say when I say I appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate it.
Okay, my bad. Top 5 artists. We got to get that part.
Man, top 5 artists to me. To be honest, top 5 artists. If you want to check this out, is I'm gonna go start. I'm gonna start on the left side. I'm gonna end up being on the right side anyway. But Luther Vandross, and that's one guy that I never had a chance of shooting him. So it's like I was so sad when he passed away because he's my favorite R&B singer. Luther Vandross. Never had a chance to take a picture of him. So Luther Vandross will be one. Artist. So and most of them are gonna be rap. So as far as R&B, well, I got Luther Vandross. Then I have KRS-One, Snoop Dogg, Redman, Jay. No particular order, but those are my 5.
The last and final question. Curly hair Tito or paper plane hat Tito?
Paper plane hat Tito. That's me.
My man.
That's me. And this is one of the newest one, the Pepsi. This is why it's red and blue. It's the Pepsi, and it just matches
The Puerto Rican, yeah.
flag, red, white, and blue. So that's my favorite. Pepsi. See, it matches this and this.
I appreciate you, big dog. Like I say, I can't say that enough. Thank you for coming out.
Yo, I'm making short-term goals when the weather falls. Just put away the leathers and put ice on the gold. Chilly with enough bail money to free a big Willie. High stakes, I got more at stake than Philly.